My name is Max. I used to work with Games Workshop retail stores. Ask me anything. Welcome back to Lizard of Doom. While I'm catching up on my Chaos Knight painting, like this, I'm going to do a couple of talking videos dispersed with other painting videos. This is one of them talking videos. My credentials. While I was at university, I worked at Games Workshop. It's a bit of an odd role that I had. Most Games Workshop stores in the UK are one-person stores, so they have one staff member. This makes it an absolute ball ache to take a lunch break or go to the toilet because you've got to leave the shop floor unmanned, which you're not supposed to do. If you have to take a holiday or some time off because you're sick, that's another thing altogether. The way they get around this is they hire cover people. Yeah boy. So I was 18, 19 in university, and my local Games Workshop store, when I first went there, had a fantastic manager. And then there was a string of subsequent crap managers. And one of these asked me to be their cover guy. He didn't know who I was. I was just a guy who came in every now and then and bought miniatures. He didn't know a thing about me. But he said, hey, do you wanna run the store while I'm not here? A 19-year-old warhammer nerd, do you want to run the store when I'm not here? Yeah. He then disappeared, like all the bad managers seem to. They just suddenly one day didn't come in and the store was locked and everyone was confused. Games Workshop head office contacted me as the only other person on the books to run the store for a bit. So between me and a few other staff from other nearby stores ran the store, predominantly myself. This led to 19-year-old me having free reign over a Games Workshop for 6 months to a year. And then after that, when I moved away from my university town, the good manager who was there when I first went into Games Workshop and got back into the hobby as an adult, now ran the store where I moved to. So he asked me, do you want to be my cover guy? And he knew me and he knew I'd done it before. And the store didn't sink. So those are my credentials. About 6 months to a year, pretty much running my own store with zero training, and then further work after that for my friend. In the previous video, I asked people to leave questions in the comments, and I also posted on 3 Reddit pages, so let's answer a few of those questions. So the first one here from 02K30C1. What was the company culture like? I had no idea. I was completely in the dark. I met one regional manager who didn't seem like he cared too much. I was just keeping the lights on. The other people I met were all other retail staff. It's, from my perspective, all the retail staff were incredibly friendly and nice, and we were all kind of like-minded people, so it was very nice to get on with them. Head office, on the other hand, would send monthly targets, and essentially what we had to do was beat this month last year. So it's May now, 2023. If I was running a Games Workshop store, I would have to beat May 2022. Does that make sense? They did not take into account what released in each month. So say Beastmen get a release this May, that ain't going to sell as much as last May's Space Marine release. So you're constantly sweating about beating an impossible target. Does that need looking at? Probably. Have they sorted it now? I don't know. I hope they have. While I'm on the topic of unreasonable goals for the store, they also have, and now you might notice this when a Games Workshop employee jumps on you and tries to sell you a starter kit, sales targets for starter kits. So you know the Let's Get Started section, or whatever they're calling it now, in usually the front end of the Games Workshop, with all the Age of Sigmar starter kits and the 40k starter kits, you have to sell a certain amount of starter products in your store. This does not take into account where your store is, what your audience is where you are. So for smaller stores that aren't in city centre locations, you don't get as much foot traffic, and that becomes harder to sell these starters to people who aren't in the hobby. What you do have, and what that one very good manager that I talked about earlier was good at, was customer retention. People kept coming back because he was friendly, he was wise about the hobby and all the painting aspect of everything, and he generated a good little community there. Those guys are not buying starter kits. Those guys have been in the hobby for years and keep coming back because of one really good staff member. Yet his targets were bad because he didn't sell starter kits. Right, enough kicking Games Workshop. I did have fun when I worked there. But next question. This is from Broke Dad Gamer on Reddit. Why does GW hate Australia and New Zealand? Now this is because when they design models They have to then redesign them upside down, so when they post them around there, they're the right way up for you to play games with. Next question. This is from Banana Blitz. Did you enjoy working for GW? What were the best and worst things about it? The best part of it is meeting like-minded people who are interested in the same thing, and it's a very judgment-free zone. You can be a nerd there, and that's fine. Occasionally you get the odd passerby shouting abuse into the shop, which... why? But other than that, it's a very judgment-free zone. Kids who are just finding out, things they're interested in, discovering new hobbies, are safe there to explore their nerdy side and not get judged for it, which is really nice to see these people growing up and getting into this hobby that otherwise becomes an old man's game with no new blood in it. And I can tell that from my target audience. I'm 30 this year. My target audience on YouTube seems to be 25 to 45. However, the worst thing about it is also the people that come into the shop. You get the people who are genuinely interested in it. You get a lot of confused mothers, grandmothers, fathers, grandfathers. Oh, have you got the latest Call of Duty game? Look around, my dude. I've got little guys on a table. Do you see a PlayStation? It says the word games, yes, in the name. But use your eyes, my guy. Also, like with any job dealing with the public, you come across some different people. I had one woman who would come into my shop once a week maybe, and the first time she came in I greeted her, hello, you alright today? Blanked me. Alright, son, I'll leave you in peace. I'm not one of those Games Workshop jump on them salesmen. You want to browse in peace? I might have a chat to you later if you're in here for a while, but do your thing. She then proceeded to go to one side of the store. The store's a big rectangle with me at the front with my little till. And then she picked a shelf, mid-range normally, and she would pick up a box and turn it around. Pick up a box, turn it around. And now these shelves went all the way around the store to the other side, and she would indeed go all the way around the store to the other side, turning boxes around. And the first time I watched her, I was like, oh, maybe she's looking at the art on the back. Bit annoying she doesn't turn the back round. But no, she systematically did it to every single box on that shelf and then left. I thought, that was weird. And then I went around turning them all back. The next time she came in, I thought, that's that lady again. And sure enough, good morning, you alright? Nothing. And then she systematically went around every box on that shelf. I said, excuse me, can you not do that, please? She didn't even make eye contact with me. She just continued. So I followed her around, flipping them back as she was going. Literally, she flipped, I flipped, she flipped, I flipped, she flipped, I flipped. I'm not really sure what was going on there till that day, but it happened every couple of weeks. Talking about unwanted people coming into a Games Workshop, it's time to address a very serious situation in this hobby. Smelly nerds. There's this one guy who told us to call him Grom. He was about 6'6", 6'8", somewhere there. Big dude. And he smelt so bad. This man has not washed his ass ever. The smell was so strong and yeasty, it started to smell like Marmite. Now this dude is your classic neckbeard gamer. He insisted on true line of sight. He would build Eldar Wraith Knights kneeling down or lying down prone and say they were hidden behind a rhino. And he would cheat dice rolls when playing against children. He'd roll them really fast. Oh, 3 6s, pick them all up. No, my guy. He also once loudly boasted about how he was banned from the library for being aggressive. Other than that, 95% of nerds are normal, nice people. There is a very small percentage of smelly nerds, and you're ruining it for the rest of us. Please, if you don't know any smelly nerds, it's you. Have a shower. Why are you laughing? It's an important message.
You're going to lose half the audience.
I'm not gonna lose half the audience. They're not smelly nerds. You're not the smelly ones, are you? Are you? Have you washed your ass today? I've gone off the rails. So, to summarise, Banana Blitz, the answer to your question, did you enjoy working at Games Workshop? What was the best and worst things? Yes, The people and the people. Question answered. Howie3 Dabber. Do you get free stuff from GW? And in brackets, employee discount, free models, paint, etc. No, you don't get free stuff. But if you're a full-time employee, which I didn't count as, even though I ran your f***ing shop for 6 months to a year, Games Workshop, you get 50% off, which people always joke isn't half price, you just get twice as many models, because that's true. That's what happens. So that's pretty good. That's a generous employee discount. They also do they also do limited edition uniform every now and then. So I was there for the release of Age of Sigmar when Old Fantasy got end timed and Age of Sigmar came in. And I have a blue t-shirt with the big hammer of Sigmar on it.
I want to get a t-shirt.
You want to get the t-shirt? I have this t-shirt. It was free. Thank you, Games Workshop. I've binned all my old uniform because it was a bit weird just to cling on to Games Workshop uniform. But this, you wouldn't really know. Thanks, G-dubs. So yeah, that answers that question. No free stuff, really. Extra uniform that's a little bit fancy sometimes. And 50% discount. Stonks. Next question from Norn Queen Kaya. Norn Queen Kia? This person. What are their truck delivery schedules like, and who do I need to pay off to get some things to fall off a truck mid-transport? Well, it's literally just UPS. If you know a dodgy UPS guy, things could fall off the truck. Or if you see a UPS stop outside Games Workshop, put your bally on, your stuff. My deliveries used to be every Thursday, so I don't know if that's nationwide, it's all on a Thursday. That's a good starting point. Scout your Games Workshop on a Thursday. UPS are kind of iffy with their times. It's usually in the morning. You could even watch for a couple of weeks and track where that UPS truck is going around town. And then you'd know them where they go a couple of stops before. And quite often Games Workshop shops are on a high street or something. So if they deliver somewhere a bit quieter before, maybe you could hit them then. Next question, I think. This is a question from Maples Minis. Could you reserve new releases for yourself? No, that wasn't really allowed. You could pre-order with everyone else. But if you were opening the shop in the morning, you're the first person in the shop. And the stock's there. So you could be the first person to buy it. I don't think there's anything against that. There might be. I'm just saying it's done. I ain't saying I did it. I'm just saying it happens. Side note about my video on mental health. I did a competition to name the knight. I was naming this boy from my Chaos Knight series. This is one of the war dogs with Flamer. And the winner is Rabid Cabbage with the name Malt, which seemed to be the fan favourite in the comment section itself. I said I'd take it into consideration that people were voting for it. And there we go. You win. The next one to name is going to be one more war dog, and then the one after this will be naming one of the big ones again. This war dog is one of the chainsword and claw guys. So if you have any good ideas for a name for this knight, let me know, and I will announce it in the next Chaos Knight video. If you enjoyed this little glimpse into what it's like to work in a Games Workshop retail store, like this video. Remember to subscribe. This isn't my normal content. I am predominantly a painting hobby channel, and I'll be releasing a painting video next Friday, so come back for that. Pop a subscribe. I'm doing alright on YouTube, just over 3 months, over 1,000 subscribers, and I would love to have you on the toilet. I know you watch this on the toilet. I'd love to have you with me.
Not any smelly ones.
Not the smelly ones. Smelly ones, go wash your ass, and then you can subscribe. In the next video, I'm going to be painting something a little bit different from the knights. It's going to be the enemy in the diorama that these knights are going to be fighting, more like wiping out. But the whole diorama itself is going to be a little story, a tableau. These are going to be the little guys in the front that give the knights the scale that they deserve. So be a pal, like and subscribe, and remember, it's not a pile of shame, it's a pile of future fun. See you next week, stinky ass.